All right, so now it's time to learn our fifth and final step to our overall body workout, and that is balance. If you want to do what I'm doing, stay tuned, and I'm going to show you exactly how. All right, so you just saw me stand on the ball. If you want to do that, then you're going to need to understand exactly how to balance your body. If you're standing on a ball, this ball is unstable. It can go in any direction. If you're not completely balanced, the ball is going to move in the opposite direction of the imbalance. What that means is if I have too much weight forward, the ball's going to roll backwards. If I have too much weight backwards, the ball's going to roll forward. And same thing with the left and right. Now, what we need to identify is two things. Number one, we need to be able to separate our lower body and our upper body. When our upper body is stable, we need to have movement in our lower body. What that does is that adjusts for our weight distribution. If our lower body is stable, we need to be able to move our upper body to make the adjustment to keep us in balance. What we're going to do now is do 5 techniques and 5 exercises how you can identify balance, separate your upper and lower body, and build the strength that you're going to need to test yourself by standing on the ball. All right, exercise number 1 to build the strength and to help us identify how to separate our lower and our upper body so that you can find perfect balance is this exercise right here. We're going to put our hands on the ball. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the beginner technique. You're going to put your forearms on the ball. You never want your hips behind your knees. You always want your hips in front of your knees. You're going to put your forearms on the ball. You're going to roll it out. You're going to put your weight on your elbows and make sure that your hips go all the way down to the ground as far as you can go. Then you're going to pull them back, remembering not to bring your hips past your knees. The advanced movement on this is get the ball further extended out on your hands. Roll out, same thing with the hips, all the way down. And as you come back, never bringing the hips back over the knees. I'm going to do 10 right now. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Just like that. So you've seen the beginner, you've seen the advanced, now we're going to go to the expert mode. This right here is going to be the same type of thing, only we're going to work our oblique and really force ourselves to separate our upper body and our lower body. Our lower body is going to stay straight while moving forward, and our upper body is going to twist while keeping our hips flat to the ground. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in the expert technique right here. I'm going to roll it out to the side, drop back in. Roll it out to the side, drop back in. What we're doing here is our hips are staying straight and our upper body's twisting. What that does is it separates the upper and lower, gives us muscle memory on how to maintain balance when our hemispheres, when our upper and lower body aren't working together. Just like that. All right, so as we taught you before, we work a push-pull technique. That means if you're going to work the front of a muscle, you're going to have to flip around and work the back side of that muscle. So to truly get balance and strength, we just worked our rectus abdominal. We're going to need to flip over and work our lumbar. How we're going to do that is just like this. We're going to lay down on our back, get the ball up on our heels, and as we lay flat, this is the beginner technique, hands out to the side. The intermediate technique, elbows out to the side. The advanced technique, hands and elbows up on the body. What you're going to do is you're going to raise up your hips. You never want your hips to dip low. You want your hips completely straight at all times. And you're going to bring your heels into your butt while keeping the hips up. You're going to extend out, hips never drop. And you're going to do that over and over again. We're working our hamstrings, we're working our lumbar muscles, and we're working our rectus abdominal a little bit to keep us balanced. Now, the ball's kind of slipping out on me, so what I do when I'm flat, I'll walk the ball in a little bit to the right position and continue. so you've seen our first two strengthening exercises to identify our upper and lower hemisphere so that we can maintain perfect balance. We worked our transverse abdominal, we flipped over that, and rectus abdominal, we flipped over, and then we worked our lumbar as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our obliques, our serratus anterior, and help us identify the difference between our upper body and our lower body. In this case, we're going to use two stable platforms. They're going to be our hands. We're going to use one unstable platform, which is going to be this ball where our feet are going to rest. Our upper body is going to be the stable point, and our lower body is going to be the unstable point, adjusting to make our balance, So, what it does is it's actually a 4-movement procedure. I'm going to break down each movement, and then I'm going to do it all in one sequence. So, watch like this. We got our stable platforms, our hands, and our upper body is going to be nice and stable. Our lower body can go either way because we're on an unstable ball, unstable platform. This is 4 steps. The first step is going to be a hip movement. The second step is going to be a contraction. The third step is going to be a hip movement. And the fourth step is going to be an extension. And then when you put them all together, it looks like this. Now, once you went one way, it's important to go back the other way. Now remember, it's the same thing the other way. 4 movements. Hips, contract, hips, extend. Hips, contract, hips, extend. Just like that. So you've seen our first 3 strengthening and balance techniques. The first one, transverse and rectus abdominal. The second one, lumbar hamstrings. The third one, oblique serratus, transverse abdominal and rectus abdominal. Now this one right here is actually going to be shoulders and back muscles. And how we're going to work that is, this is called a pike movement. We're going to use our stable platform on the front and our unstable platform in the back. And our shoulder is going to be the pivot point. Now let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to get nice and stable in the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to move into our pike position, and we're rotating at the shoulder. The back muscles are contracting, the abs are keeping the legs locked in, and we're bringing the hips up over the shoulders. It looks simple, but it really isn't. All right, so this is our 5th and final strengthening and balancing exercise. These are the 5 strengthening exercises that you're gonna need to do before we move to our advanced techniques on how to stand on the ball and show perfect balance. This final exercise is what we call a mountain climber. It's very similar to our 3rd exercise, which was the rotation with the 4 movements, the hips, the contraction, the hips, and the extension. But this one is actually only 2 movements, and we're going to be doing a mountain climber position. I'll show you just right now what I'm talking about. We're going to get the ball on our feet, nice stable platform on our hands, and we're going to contract, extend, switch our hips, contract, extend. Switch our hips, contract, extend, switch your hips, contract, extend. And this is what it looks like when you put it all together.